Really says they're comfy playing right here in the home confines. On the road, not quite so good. Hard to explain.
20 home runs. Let me drive in 100, score 100, and you're going to have a very good year. But when you also throw in, you have an opportunity for 200 hits and everything else that is involved, that way that Michael Brantley plays this game, it is a very special season. Once he hits that 1 home run for 20, he needs a double for 40, the 20 hits for 200. I want to see him get that. And by the way, he has 12 assists in the outfield. Don't forget about how good he is defensively. We're talking about the offensive numbers, but day in and day out, he's as good as anybody in the game.
Truly a great all-around player, and he's going up and against a very good all-around player in Jose Altuve of the Houston Astros. We'll explore more about these two all-stars when we come back to Minute Maid Park right after this.
But the more he locates those pitches effectively, the more confident he becomes, and he starts attacking hitters. That's been his MO over his last several starts. Looking for more of that tonight are the Astros as they try to win this first game of the series against the Indians. He'll be counting on Jose Altuve to lead the offense behind him, and why not? This guy has been terrific. He needs just 4 hits to tie Craig Biggio for the Astros single-season hit record. How much closer can he get to the record today? Lineups and first pitch are straight ahead.
They've seen a string of contenders, as you're well aware, here in the month of September, and they've done quite well in handling those series with contending teams, even though the Cleveland Indians have slipped back. And there you see where they stand in the AL wild card. They are 5 games out. Kansas City and Oakland right in the mix there for those top 2 wild card spots. And then Seattle's only 1 game back. So the Indians have given up ground, coming back to 76 and 72 after being swept in the 3-game series at Detroit. That was a very, very big loss of a series for them against the team in front of them. So with that 5-game span to make up, the Tribe would need to run the table for a while at least. But last year, Ash, they won 21 games in September, and they won their last 10 in a row to finish in a wild card spot.
Yeah, they were a good team a year ago. A lot of folks thought they'd be able to duplicate that this year. As we know, never easy to just simply run it out there and expect numbers to come along. But I think what the Indians ran into with the Tigers was the Tigers ball club that finally started playing the kind of ball that everybody has thought they would play all year long.
Terry Francona will go with this starting lineup tonight for the Tribe with that 76 and 72 record. Houston native Michael Bourne leads it off in center field. It's Jose Ramirez at shortstop. Michael Bradley's having a big year. He's in left with Carlos Santana, who leads the league in walks at first base. Jason Kipnis, the DH. Yan Gomes, the catcher. David Murphy of Houston in right field. Lonnie Chisenhall at third base. Zach Walters at second base.
On the mound for the Astros tonight, right-hander Colin McHugh. You heard all about him from Bart and all the great things he's been doing. I can spin it a little differently. In the month of August, an ERA at 191. He's been much better even in the month of September. 115 ERA. Other numbers, right-hand hitters have had a dismal time, but so have the lefties. Overall, hitters just not being able to get to him. 279, the outstanding ERA. When he's healthy, no blister, no evulsion. Colin McHugh dominates Major League hitters.
And with that whip of 1.04, another of the impressive statistics he has compiled in what is still regarded as the rookie season for Colin McHugh. And the Astros improving so much at home, coming from 24 and 57 last season at home, losing their final 8 games, to 35 and 39 at home this year, going 14 and 11 on the last 3 homestand beginning this final 7-game homestand, and the Seattle Mariners will be on the other end of it. So both of these two clubs that will be coming into Minute Maid Park are certainly in that contending category this week.
11-game improvement already. 7 games on the homestand to close it out here at Minute Maid Park. So a great opportunity to just make a huge rise, at least while playing at home. The road has still been a tough place.
For Tom Lawless and Adam Everett, back in their home ballpark with the white uniforms on after the Astros came off that 5-4 road trip. A chance to further what this club has been doing with 7 wins and 4 losses in the month of September. And the pitching has been really top-notch with a 2.83 staff ERA in those 11 games. Colin McHugh certainly has fit quite well, as you mentioned, Ash, into this rotation. And if he took this 2.79 ERA he currently has and added 20 more innings pitched, he would qualify for the league's ERA title. He would rank 6th in the American League if he had enough innings to qualify.
Isn't that impressive stuff? That Dallas Keuchel, who's right at the 3 mark, is right behind him. So the Astros, along with Altuve and Carter and others, have some guys taking that huge step forward this year.
Now Houston native Michael Bourne, as the home plate umpire Larry Vanover took a little walk. He settles in behind the dish. Michael Bourne at 265 has 3 homers, 26 runs batted in. He went 2 for 11 in Detroit, and it's a subpar year for Michael Bourne with that 324 on base average. There's ball 1 getting away from Colin McHugh. So Bourne really hasn't hit his stride this year. He's been bothered by a left hamstring problem, and he had surgery on that left hamstring last October. It's an injury that has pushed him back onto the disabled list again this year. And it goes to a 2-0 count. Michael has 10 steals and 16 tries. That's not the Michael Bourne we have seen in the past.
Something we have seen a bit at times with Colin McHugh. He struggles with that fastball, and so he turns to that little cutter, a version of a slider, and he's able to throw that for a strike.
He's had just 1 career start against the Indians earlier this season. A no decision, giving up 2 runs in 5 1/3 innings at Cleveland. Bourne hits it in the air, and that one goes back into the crowd for a 2-ball, 2-strike count. This is the only trip for Cleveland to Houston this year. The Tribe winning 2 of 3 from the Astros in Cleveland in August, and they have won 8 of their last 9 from the Astros. That was a low-scoring series. The Indians have pitched well this year when they've played well. In the middle of the pack and runs scored. The count runs full on Michael Bourne. The Tribe has dropped 5 of the last 7 games. Dexter Fowler plays in left center, and this one's bounced to Jose Altuve. A 2-hopper. Oh, it's not caught by Mark Krause, and this one gets away and rolls over by the Astros dugout. Just an easy throw from Altuve to Krause, who failed to catch it, and Krause draws his 4th error of the year.
Mark Krause has had limited opportunities at first base, especially in recent times, and he kicked an easy ground ball just a few games ago. Don't know what's going on with Mark defensively. That would not be normal for a major leaguer.
Krause draws the error. That puts Bourne at second base, and that's a gift base runner for the Indians, who now have Ramirez coming up. Jose Ramirez at 259 has 1 homer, 12 runs batted in. Had a big series against the Astros in Cleveland, going 7 for 13 and driving in a pair. He's bunting, and it's a good one. McHugh throwing to first. Sacrifice for Ramirez. That's his 13th sacrifice bunt. He leads the American League.
Defensively for the Astros here this evening. In the outfield, left to right, Robbie Grossman, Dexter Fowler, and Jake Marisnick. On the infield, left side, Matt Dominguez and Gregorio Petit after his big home run yesterday. On the right, Jose Altuve and Mark Krause, who you just saw, and Jason Castro behind the dish.
Now the infield lays back, except for Matt Dominguez at third for the All-Star Michael Brantley, who's having a big-time year. With 94 runs batted in, he has 19 homers. He's hit .320. He has scored 89 runs. Very nice season for Michael Brantley. And he takes ball 1. Brantley's 27 years old from Bellevue, Washington. 7th round pick of Milwaukee in 05. Cleveland got him in a trade, the CC Sabathia deal, after the 08 season.
Sometimes you can tell a lot about a major league hitter just watching him take a pitch, and that seemed to be the case on that first curveball in watching Brantley. Look how quietly he takes. Now, it's conceivable he's taking all the way, but it's my hunch that he's not. He's just seeing the ball well.
Colin McHugh had reversed his 6-game losing streak, now has turned it around, and he's won his last 5 decisions. It's a grounder foul, and it's a 1-ball, 2-strike count.
Nice job by Colin after a couple of slow curveballs coming up and in with the fastball.
He can do that on left-handed batters. Brantley, with a 6.2 WAR figure, is second to Mike Trout in the majors. That might be surprising to you. It certainly is to me.
Kind of snuck up on a lot of people.
You bet. Swing and a miss and a breaking ball in the dirt, and well, he had taken those breaking pitches earlier in the count, but that time it was in swing mode, and McHugh buried it and got the strikeout. What a big strikeout.
Snaps that yacker off right into the dirt behind home plate. Gets the huge strikeout. And keep in mind that Colin McHugh is no foreigner to the strikeout. And he's carried a very nice strikeout to inning ratio throughout the season.
Now the shift is on for the slugging first baseman, Carlos Santana. Altuve's out in right field. Santana with a .234 average has gone deep 27 times. He's driven in 79 runs. 14 runs batted in this month for Santana.
In fact, Colin McHugh still just above 1 strikeout per inning.
That's ball 1. Jason Kipnis on deck. That might sound a little weird to you, but Colin really need not pitch to Santana here at this stage. Earlier in the game, though, it's nice if a pitcher is aggressive. It's 2-0, but given the fact that Santana has 102 walks, a lot of pitchers have worked carefully to him this year. And hitting behind him, Jason Kipnis in an off year.
Carlos Santana, 11th in the American League in on-base percentage, so it's kind of a critical part of what he does.
Santana looks at that one. It's a strike. 2-1.
Colin McHugh will make a hitter be aware of all of his pitches. He can drop that curveball, the cutter, the full-blown slider, or the fastball on either side of the plate in any count.
In the air, and the looping liner over Altuve, and that makes it 1-0 Cleveland. RBI single by Santana, his 80th run batted in. He had just enough on it to get it over Altuve.
So that error turns out costly in the first inning. And you know these Indians are grinding away right now. They're not done, so they're not going to be able to allow themselves to say we're done.
Jason Kipnis is the batter. He's DHing tonight. And there's strike 1 call to Kipnis with a low .243 batting average, 6 homers, 41 runs batted in. Last year he was an all-star, hitting .284, 17 homers, 84 runs batted in. That cuts in tight to him, 1-1. The Indians did make that wild card playoff spot with their furious month of September a year ago. It's a 2-ball, 1-strike count. They've been in this mix in the AL Central, and it's been surprising to many that Detroit, which was picked to win this division by many games by a whole lot of folks, has come back to the pack. But there have been solid reasons for that. The injury factor, a big one. That's let Cleveland get back in the hunt. Strike makes it 2-2. The Tribe has rebounded from an 11-17 month of April. Played solid baseball since then. And in August, they went 17-9. That one got in on him, and he fouled it. The run is unearned because of the error by Krause. There's got to be some of that with all these expanded rosters. Some rookies to be preyed upon in the dugout, right?
You know, if you're that rookie and you're looking around and teammates are smiling, laughing, having some giggles, better check your equipment.
Now it's a full count to Kipnis. McHugh has the 4th lowest ERA in club history for a rookie in a single season, behind Ken Forsch, Roy Oswalt, and Don Wilson. Runner takes off. It's flared over shortstop and out to left field. Robbie Grossman with a catch, and it's one unearned run on one hit, one error, and one left. Cleveland 1, Houston coming up. Jose Altuve with 206 hits is chasing that club record of 210 set by Craig Biggio, who's here tonight. Indians 1, Astros coming up with this starting lineup brought to you by Jack in the Box. Tom Lawless puts it together this way. Robbie Grossman in left field. Jose Altuve second base. Dexter Fowler center field. Chris Carter DH. Mark Krause first base. Jason Castro catcher. Jake Marisnick right field. Matt Dominguez third base. Gregorio Petit shortstop.
On the mound for the Indians, 26-year-old right-hander Zach McAllister in 16 games, 14 as a starter. ERA just under the 6 mark. It should be something the Astros should enjoy going at. They scored just 30 runs in 9 games on the road.
Ball one high to Robbie Grossman, who's on a 6-game hitting streak. 223, 6 homers, 37 runs batted in for Robbie. That evens the count at 1-1. Robbie has gone 10 for 29 during his 6-game streak. Had a nice game yesterday, 2 for 5 with a double, driving in 2. This is a season high streak for Robbie with 6 games. That's bounced foul. The pitch in on him takes the count to 1-2. And McAllister back in this rotation, at least for this one spot start. He's been working in relief. He was in the rotation as the number 3 starter to open the season. Started out with a 3-0 record and a 2.28 ERA for his first 4 starts. And things began to unravel for him. He wound up being demoted to the minor leagues, went to AAA Columbus, where he had a 1.93 ERA in the month of August, and now coming back and trying to be a part of that picture for next year in the Tribe's rotation. It's 3-1. The walks and hits per innings pitched is 1.56 for McAllister. ERA 5.97. Foul back. The Tribe played a doubleheader the last time through the rotation, and that has necessitated using another starter here so they can get their rotation back in order. Corey Kluber, who is really terrific, will be their starter here tomorrow night. He's a 15-game winner. He'll oppose Nick Tropiano.
Tropiano showed very well in that major league debut.
He really did. That was his punch out for McAllister for out number 1. Second time McAllister has faced the Astros. He beat them last year, beating Fred Oberholzer in Cleveland 2-1, giving up 1 run in 5 innings in the game shortened by rain. 206 hits for Jose Altuve, a 4-game hitting streak, a .339 batting average, 7 homers, 52 runs batted in for Jose. He turned around that road trip after a slow start. Last few games went very well during his 4-game hitting streak. He's 8 for 17. Up under the chin for ball 1.
And 95 on the heat from McAllister. And Altuve in the on-deck circle got to see that fastball, 94-95 from the right-hander.
Dexter Fowler's watching that from the on-deck circle now. Altuve to right field. That chases David Murphy back. Murphy with the catch.
The ball was hit pretty well by Altuve. Got the fastball. Quick bat here this evening. Defensively for the Indians behind McAllister. In the outfield left to right, Michael Brantley, Michael Bourne, and David Murphy. On the infield left side, Lonnie Chisenhall. It's Jose Ramirez at short. On the right side, Zach Walters and Carlos Santana. And Yan Gomes, fine catcher, is behind the dish.
Now with 2 quick outs, the Astros try to get a rally started against McAllister with Dexter Fowler batting. Fowler's put together a 4-game hitting streak. He looks at it, and it's called strike 1. 274 for Fowler, 8 homers, 32 runs batted in, and the 9th best on base percentage in the league, .376. Fastball fouled away, makes it 0-2. Chisenhall is well off the third base line. He's trying to plug what would normally be the 5.5 hole between third baseman and shortstop. The shortstop, Ramirez, shading up the middle, as you see.
Did you take a math course while we were on the road?
No, definitely not. There would be an F in the offing. Heard you and Blummer talking about your math. Why is that a weakness for all of us who do Major League Baseball?
Well, don't go casting stones my way.
Okay, so you were an A+ math student?
I was a 5.5 on the 12 scale.
Fowler's down on strikes. That's a quick first for McAllister with 2 punch outs and a 1-0 Cleveland lead. That is presented by Jack in the Box. Right now at Jack in the Box, try Jack's Spicy Chicken Club Combo for just $4.99 plus tax. Hey, the new caps are coming out. We'll be seeing those very soon at the team store, among other places. Bun B has been involved, the Houston rapper, in designing brand new Astros caps.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You guys are tight, aren't you?
No, but we have met.
You know what? Tell Bun when you talk to him next that I'd like to see a green one.
A green one?
Yes, that's what I need.
Please.
Needs me a green one.
Jacob deGrom has just joined Jim DeShays. He has struck out the first 8.
Wow.
In a major league game tonight, the first 8 Miami Marlins he faced.
Tommy Lasorda is going to send a pinch hitter in there.
Jared Cozart was the number 9 batter, and he produced an opposite field single through the right side of the infield.
Wow. That 9 spot is deadly.
Fly ball, right field line. Hit by Yan Gomes coming over Marisnik into foul territory. For a 1-pitch out, number 1.
Well, I know you remember it well, but in the DeShays story, that 3rd inning, Tommy Lasorda went to his bench and sent a pinch hitter to the plate, and I never was able to figure that out.
Well, it was, what, a 2-0 score at the time, so there were those who suggested that Tommy simply did not want his club to go any further with the strikeout scheme to open the game.
Not going to let my club be the one you talk about forever that struck out 22 times in a row to start the game.
David Murphy at 266 with 7 homers has driven in 56. Well, no pinch hitter needed by the Marlins. They just let the pitcher Cozart get a hit.
Jared can take some pretty good hacks.
He's up against it tonight. Murphy takes a look at one that sails way outside, and that's happened several times here with the arm side action of Colin McHugh. That pitch going way out away from home plate with a left-handed batter up there.
By the way, I'm sure you heard about it. We had a JD sighting in New York a couple of trips back.
Well, tell us more.
Well, they just the Mets happened to be in New York at the same time the Yankees were, and the Astros were in for the Yankees. And no, wait, is that right? Yes, that is right. Imagine that, a story being told accurately to this point. Anyway, we met up with JD one evening.
There's a strikeout, and Murphy is victim number 2 of the night for Colin McHugh. How's he doing?
All seems well with Jim DeShays and family.
Very good. Well, he now has company. Wonder if his phone is blowing up. You know it is.
It always is.
Lonnie Chisenhall, the batter. Chisenhall at 288 has 13 homers. He's driven in 58 runs. He has had 2 5-hit games this year. There's strike 1 for McHugh. Sometimes it takes Collins' fastball a little bit longer to come around than the breaking stuff, and tonight would seem to be one of those nights. There's a shot into right field. 2 Altuve's left for a 2-out single for Chisenhall. You are texting the man himself.
I just wanted to get in touch with JD and commiserate with him.
Did you tell him to move over?
I said you are no longer the greatest. You know, if that implies that, so be it.
It's reminiscent of the Ricky Henderson speech when he got the stolen base record.
Bring that bag down from above your head. I think in JD's case it was the pitching rubber.
Zach Walters at 175 has 9 homers, 15 runs batted in. An interesting set of statistics. There's ball 1 to Walters. Walters, 25 years old, from Cheyenne, Wyoming, went to the University of San Diego. Had 8 major league at bats with Washington last year. He was traded to Washington from Arizona, and then the Tribe picked him up, and he homered off Brad Peacock in Cleveland back on August 22nd. It's 2 balls, no strikes, so we got to look at his power. He hit 29 long balls for AAA Syracuse last year, so the potential is there. And Walters was moved from the Nationals to the Tribe in the Asdrubal Cabrera deal.
Yeah, it looks like a guy that's got legit pop.
Could be a very good down the line trade for Cleveland.
Swings it from both sides.
That's back behind the screen. And that takes the count to 2-1. Well, the Indians have dealt some good players this season, some more veteran, high salaried, established guys, 4 younger players. But Terry Francona's a fine manager, and they've been able to hang in the race until, if you would say they're on the margin of the race right now, until recent days. They're still in it technically, but probably don't feel in it after being swept over the weekend. Strike call, and they're not mincing words in the stories that have been written after yesterday's loss. They lost 2 in a row when they led going to the late innings. So the bullpen failed them those 2 games in a row, and they were swept. And they're not trying to put any kind of a bow around their situation. They're just saying, you know, we're in some rather dire straits now. We really need to just win every day for a while.
They feel they've had great bullpen pitching, but it just unraveled for them.
Strikeout number 3 for Colin McHugh. 1-0 Cleveland in the second.
Top of the Astros 1-0 as we move to the bottom of the second. Time for our Geico quote of the day. It is from Chris Carter on turning his season around. He said, "I just think it's working every day in the cage and making a conscious effort to have those swings mean something. I take the same amount of swings, just a different approach." And I can tell you guys, from watching Chris take BP, he works a lot on going the opposite way. Seems to have shortened his swing. He's faster to the ball, and yet he hasn't lost any power. If anything, he looks more powerful. And of course, he had that great month of July, and ever since then, his confidence has been sky high.
36 homers, 85 runs batted in, a .238 average, and currently a 12-game hitting streak for Chris Carter. It's 0-2.
It's a good call on Bart's part. He's dead on with each of the assessments, and I think he's ready for scouting opportunities to come his way.
All right. Julia has the series off. Bart and Layla Rahimi will be alternating, working with us during this 4-game set. 1-2. So Carter, during this 12-game streak, has really done some of those things that Bart talked about. And the right side of the infield is wide open for him right now. Late on that swing, and it's punch out number 3 for McAllister.
And the first time that McAllister has hit 97 tonight. He's been 94 to 96 and now 97. So his arm is alive for the moment.
He'll be facing Mark Krause. Krause with a .200 batting average. Has 6 homers, 21 runs batted in. John Singleton getting the night off. Krause, 26 years old, from Deschler, Ohio, went to Ohio University. His family usually comes to Cleveland when the Astros are playing the Tribe there. That's in for strike one. McAllister looking sharp here in the early going. This is the 51st start this year for Mark Krause. It's 1-1 to Mark. McAllister's ERA on the road is 6.27.
Well, those numbers don't sound like the guy we're looking at right now in the first couple of innings.
No, they do not. You must be seeing him at his best. He's 26 years old from Chillicothe, Illinois. Third round pick of the Yankees in 06. Cleveland got him in a trade in 2010. And he is buzzing it tonight. That's 4 strikeouts for him. That one at 96.
Well, his stuff for the moment, if you were just seeing him, had no composite of numbers to tag along with him, you'd have to say, oh, keep an eye on this guy. This guy's got a chance to be really something. But that has not been the story on the year.
That's 5 straight, and now it's Jason Castro batting. Castro at 226 has 14 bombs. He's driven in 54. Trying to pull out of that one for 15. That's strike 1 to him with Marisnick on deck. The Astros have won 10 of their last 15 to get to 66 wins. That's a liner to left field, and Bradley over. That's in for a hit. He fires it back in, and it's a 2-out single for Castro.
That is a version of the Jason Castro that I watched so much last year, and just really feel that this is the strength of his game, and yet at times this year it felt like he really wasn't allowing this opposite field stroke to take place. I don't know if that's true or not. It's just kind of the visual that's taking place.
The Astros hoping that's the start of something. They really have seen McAllister firing the ball tonight. Now it's Marisnick. Marisnick, during a 3-game hitting streak, has gone 6 for 11. That's in the mid-90s at strike 1. 264, 1 homer, 11 runs batted in for Marisnick. He had 3 hits yesterday and a walk. He stole a base. Playing before some family and friends at home in Southern California.
By the way, I want to report, Brownie, for the fans, that Jim DeShays, in response to my text, "You are no longer the greatest," has replied, "I'll just have to settle for co-greatest."
Foul back. Still 0-2 to Jake Marisnick. McAllister's won 3 and lost 6. Trying to reclaim some of that prominence. He lost his spot in the rotation at the end of July. And when he went to AAA Columbus, the suggestion was that he reevaluate his fastball and locate it down in the strike zone. That one is up, and it's strike 3 call, and he has struck out 5 in the first 2 innings and has a 1-0 lead.
Anderson making cancer history. Jose Cruz notches his 2,000th career hit in a 2-1 victory over San Diego, and on the same day that Joe Niekro is traded to the Yankees for Jim DeShays. I guess there's something very special going on this day, apparently. Jose Cruz, what a great teammate, one of the most fun guys that you could ever want to spend 8-10 years with and enjoy life. There he is. Could swing that bat, I want to tell you.
Well, in fact, Jesus Ortiz of the Houston Chronicle did an interesting article about the Astros, who have come close to batting titles. They've never had a winner, but Jose Cruz came the closest of anybody, losing by 5 points to Bill Madlock in 1983. Madlock hitting .323, Cruz hitting .318. Michael Bourne gets it started in the third inning, and he misses a bunt try. There's strike one to Michael, who reached on the error by Mark Krause and scored the unearned run in the first inning. He has had some electrifying games in this ballpark as a member of the Houston Astros, as you probably remember. And the curve has worked well for McHugh tonight. He goes back to it for an 0-2 count. Michael, a fourth-round pick of the Phillies in 03. The Astros got him in a trade after the 07 season. It was the Brad Lidge deal. And he moved along in another trade to Atlanta in 2011. Not chasing there. He goes to a 1-2 count. In fact, he joined the Astros in 08. Won a couple of Gold Gloves here in 09 and in 2010. Hit .285 in 09, hit .265 the next year, but he was leading the league in steals in 2010 with 52, and again the next year was 61. A strikeout for Colin McHugh is his fourth of the night.
Just 87 on that fastball, but after curveballs one after another, that fastball slips by. You can see kind of a delayed flicking reaction there by Bourne.
That's an excellent point about velocity being relative. And now it's Ramirez batting. Ramirez turns 22 on Wednesday. He's from the Dominican Republic, switch hitter. Good looking young player. There's ball one. He's played at second base. Kipnis has spent some time on the disabled list this year, so Ramirez can play both the up the middle positions. Strike makes it a 1-1 strike count. Ramirez last year had just 12 at bats in the big leagues. He was at AA Akron most of the season. Punches one on a line, and it's caught by Grossman. 2 outs.
Got a night where it looks like two pitchers are on their games.
Well, McHugh has been pitching a lot of close games lately. He won his last game 2-1 at Seattle, giving up 2 hits and 1 run in 8 innings.
I hope that was a glance at the baseball and not at the fingers there by Colin McHugh.
Yeah. He has not reported any problems with that nail on the middle finger of the pitching hand. Michael Bradley struck out in the first inning. Chased a low curveball. There's that 92-mile-per-hour heater again, nowhere close to the outside corner of the plate, and it's ball one.
He has a lot of those occasions where he simply releases the ball early and leaves it well on that side of the plate.
So pitching from behind 1-0 is a real challenge for anybody, but he's been able to master that tonight. That's laced out to right center field, headed for the bullpen fence. And then will take one hop and go off that fence. Picked up by Marisnik. A double for Bradley, his 40th 2-base hit.
Not so sure that Bradley, who is a good-looking hitter, by the way, couldn't have gotten 3 bags on this. He was kind of cruising first to second base, double all the way, but looked like one he might have been able to stretch. Of course, you don't want to make the last out on the bases. Good short stroke. He keeps his hands steady. They rise a bit before approaching the baseball, and you can see why he's put up the good numbers he has this year.
Bradley's aboard for Santana now. First base open, and Castro talks it over.
That to me embodied what I would characterize as the fundamentals of a very good hitter.
He is having one kind of a big year. Santana with the RBI single over Altuve into right field, got his 80th run batted in, first time up. Santana still does some catching, but he's primarily a first baseman at DH now. There's ball one. Carlos, 28 years old, from the Dominican Republic. Last year he started 81 games behind the plate. But as you indicated, Ash, Yan Gomes has claimed that position this year and played it very well for the Tribe.
Kind of a cheap addition to the ball club for the Indians, and a very good one.
1-1 to Santana. Castro blocks it. It's a 2-ball, 1-strike count for Colin McHugh. In each of the last 8 starts, McHugh has allowed no more than 2 runs. That's the longest string of any Astros pitchers since Mike Scott in '86. He went 14 straight starts allowing no more than 2 runs.
Has not felt fluky. At the same time, it hasn't felt dominant like Mike Scott, but it has not felt fluky at all. Just a guy that's mastering the game of pitching.
Well, he hasn't had a whole lot of run support, and that's why his record may be deceiving if you haven't watched him pitch and you're looking at a 9-9 record with a 2.79 ERA. Curveball struck him out. That's number 5. No runs a hit and a man left. 1-0 Cleveland.
Are turning back the clock to 1998, the year that Craig Biggio set the Astros record for hits in a season with 210, the same record that Jose Altuve is currently trying to break. So, for our Twitter question, like I said, we're turning back the clock. We're wondering how old you were at that time, and what was the defining memory for you? It could be baseball, it could be pop culture. For example, for me, I was a freshman in college at Syracuse, and Syracuse actually had a good football team, and Titanic was the movie. Tweet me at HoChenCSN and tell me your story from 1998. I read the best tweets on TV. Guys?
We know Ben Schwartzwalder was not the coach that year.
He was not. It was Paul Pasqualoni.
Very good. Thanks, Howard. 1-0. Matt Dominguez batting. The Astros on the trailing end, and it's strike one. Matt at 218 has 15 homers, 53 runs batted in. So many people walk down that hallway and look at the legends. on their way to their seats. 1-1. Domingo had a rough road trip that brought his average down after he went 2 for 26. He is 0 for 6 against Cleveland pitching. It's a 2-ball 1-strike count. For McAllister, the early innings have been much more successful. Batting average against him the first time through the order is .263. Second time through, .302. Third time, .333. 3-1, and he didn't locate that fastball where he wanted to. It's off the plate. Now Petit on deck. Grossman due up third as Dominguez tries to reach to open this home third. And a pitch to hit, but he fouls it back. Full count on Matt Dominguez. The Indians have had a 3.11 staff ERA since the All-Star break. In the month of August, they had a 2.39 earned run average. Foul ball, and Santana comes over for it. One down for McAllister. Corey Kluber, who goes tomorrow night, is as good as just about anybody in Major League Baseball right now. 15-9, a 2.45 ERA, 230 strikeouts in 212 innings. Gregorio Petit had the big blow yesterday, 275, 2 homers, 9 runs batted in. He had a 3-run homer yesterday off Hector Santiago of the Angels on the way to the Astros 6-1 win. That gave them their first 3 runs. Upstairs, ball 1. So Petit gets another shot at shortstop for this game, and in the 3 games against the Angels, Tom Lawless used 3 different starting shortstops. That's a liner into left. Petit hits his way on. It's hit number 2 by a Houston player.
If Petit doesn't watch out the way he's stinging the baseball, including that 3-run home run yesterday, he's going to get a solid look next spring. This is not a big guy. He looks like your basic middle infielder, but he swings the bat with a lot of authority.
Two hits for the Astros. Now Robbie Grossman, the batter. He struck out after working the count full. The Nationals lead the Braves 2-0. They're in the top of the 7th in Atlanta. Washington getting closer to clinching the NL East. Wilson Ramos hit his 11th home run. It came off Erwin Santana. Steven Strasburg is shutting out the Braves so far. Braves have really been in the offensive doldrums.
They've had the brakes on, trying to rev the engine, but the brakes won't let it go.
They keep grabbing.
Zach McAllister is looking like the guy that went 7-1 at AAA this year.
He is. 0-2. And just looking at his numbers for the season at the major league level with that 5.97 ERA. We're assuming the Indians have not seen a whole lot of this from Zach McAllister this year.
That's been the story. My hunch is either something clicked along the way, or he's feeling a lot better than he was in the Indians uni earlier this year.
Some lights just went out on that upper bank there. Fouled away last year. McAllister, who's 6'6" and 240, was 9-9 with Cleveland with a 3.75 ERA. Fine season.
Well, that would say that over the course of an entire season, he's a lot better than that set of numbers that he's compiled with Cleveland this year. Is he as good as what he did at AAA? Time will tell, but we're watching a pretty good looking pitcher here this evening.
Mid-90s fastball. Breaking pitch down and in. Grossman checked his swing. 1-2. That was appealed to Vic Carapazza. Miami now leads the Mets 3-2. They're in the middle of the 7th inning. After the Mets starter Jacob deGrom struck out the first 8 batters in the game to tie Jim DeShay's major league record at the beginning of a game. Jared Cozart has given up 2 runs in 6 innings. deGrom has given up 3 runs and struck out 13 in 7 innings. Fly ball left field toward the corner. Brantley back. Brantley deep in the corner. Off his glove. And now going to third base. Here's Petit as the throw comes into the shortstop. But Brantley was shaded over toward left center, and Grossman sent him into the corner. Looked as if he would be able to make the catch when he left his feet, but it hit his glove and he failed to hold it.
Well, I'm going to say he should have made this catch. And I have a feeling Brantley thought he was up against that scoreboard. It's a metal board. It's got a lot of angles and slots and things that can hurt you. And I think that was playing on his mind.
It's an excellent point, Ash. So now the Astros have runners at second and third and 1 out. And we still have 2 hits on the board for the Astros, so the official scorer has not yet made a ruling on that play. Altuve's the batter. It's a double. Altuve with a shot right through the legs of McAllister into center field, scoring Petit and Grossman, and it's a 2-1 Houston lead. Not only hit number 207 of the year, but one that gives the Astros the lead. 54 runs batted in for Jose Altuve.
That's nice. You get your hit and have it meaningful. And again, he's riding a streak of 4 consecutive games with 2 hits in each of those games. Getting that first knock of the night is oftentimes difficult. I think right now for Altuve, there's a lot weighing on his mind. He really wants this batting title. And so every hit is huge, and you can watch his reactions at first base. But I think with each hit, that weight, and it's a big one, is lifted.
He's aboard for Dexter Fowler, who struck out earlier. And it's ball 1. Well, you and Blummer were talking about that. It was either yesterday or Saturday. The days run together when you guys are gone on a 10-game road trip, 9-game road trip. But that first hit of the game has to be a tension breaker for Altuve.
I certainly think so. And just watching his body language.
That's a liner over shortstop. And Michael Bourne comes over and leaves his feet to make the play on Fowler. 2 outs.
But again, watching his body language as you watch Altuve get that first hit of the night, and hopefully there are more to come, it doesn't look like it's an easy, laughable kind of a situation. A lot of the times, Jose's just smiling and laughing and having a grand old time. But I think he feels the sense right now of what this batting title might mean.
Chris Carter struck out in the 2nd inning. Altuve takes off. Here's the throw from Yan Gomes. It's a bullet, and they got him. That was one big-time throw from Yan Gomes, who has thrown out 31% this year. And the Astros grab the lead on the Altuve 2-run single. It's 2 runs, 3 hits, and after 3, 207 hits for Jose, a 2-1 lead for Houston.
Doing his thing, giving the Astros a 2-1 lead as we move to the 4th. Now it's time for you to tweet your photo using hashtag CSNHFanPhoto for a chance to have it shown in an upcoming game broadcast. This brought to you by friends at AT&T. Let's go back up to Bill and Alan.
Thanks, Bart. Altuve has put on a show all year, hasn't he? And at age 24, right on the cusp of making history. We go to the 4th inning, and it's Jason Kipnis. Kipnis with ball 1. Victor Martinez got a double his first time up tonight for Detroit. Kipnis hit a fly ball to left in the 1st inning. Pitch a strike. That makes it a 1-ball-1-strike count to Colin McHugh.
Ronnie, we were discussing Jose Altuve, and my thoughts. When you're watching a guy potentially win a batting race like this, and right around the 340 mark, you say, well, can he ever repeat that kind of a year? Is this just the anomaly of what's going to be a really good career, one way or the other, or does he become that Rod Carew, Tony Gwynn kind of a guy through the years?
Altuve with a play, 1 out.
You can't tell right now, but you couldn't tell when you were watching Carew and Gwynn and other great hitters until they had some years behind them.
Yeah, you want to see a player do it more than once, so he's not a flash in the pan, right?
Without a doubt, and you can make all the predictions you want. It doesn't mean a thing until he goes out and does it, but having watched Altuve this year, I would say it's not out of the realm of possibility.
Brad Mills is the bench coach now for the Cleveland Indians, former manager of the Astros when Jose Altuve came up. We were chatting with him about Jose before the game tonight. Yan Gomes taking strike 1. We said, did you see anything like this? He said, well, no, I would be answering falsely if I said I saw a batting champion the first time I saw him, but I saw a very good player who was determined. And he said the first time they sent him over to us from minor league camp, they said, oh, you won't want to keep him. He said, well, let's take a look. He looked at him. He said, I like what I see an awful lot here.
Well, and you can take the question a lot of directions, but did you know what you were getting when you first saw Jeff Bagwell? Now, yes, Jose's been around a little bit. He has a bit of a track record, and it's a good one. It just didn't match what he's doing this year.
No.
But again, you just said he's 24 years of age. So he's a pup playing this game.
You don't want to rule out a 24-year-old player who's hitting the way he's hitting this year.
When did Wade Boggs become Wade Boggs, and on and on?
Fair question. That strikeout was number 6 for Colin McHugh. And now it's David Murphy. Murphy struck out earlier. After those years with the Rangers, he's found a new home in Cleveland, taking strike 1 here. Last year he had an off season with Texas, hitting .220. David's 32 years old. He was a first-round pick of Boston in '03. Born in Houston, went to Klein High School. It's a 1-ball-1-strike count. And Cleveland signed him as a free agent last November. Well, he's hit well against the Astros in his career. 327, 8 homers, 24 runs batted in. Love's coming here. That one skips by. And it's a 2-ball-1-strike count. But isn't that the beauty of watching baseball for, well, an entire season, and then another season, then another season, discovering players and then wondering, well, is this guy really this good? And then finding out if it is or isn't.
And of course, we did the same thing when we were kids, and through the years since. And some guys fulfill expectations, some exceed, and some come nowhere close. So, yeah, it's going to be a really fun story to watch it as it continues to show itself for Jose Altuve and others. How about Chris Carter in that regard?
Yeah.
Colin McHugh, Dallas Keuchel.
Fly ball left field. Robbie Grossman digging back toward the corner. That's a 1-2-3-4 for Colin McHugh and a 2-1 lead for the Astros.
Bottom of the fourth. The Eli Young Band's house party is coming here to Minute Maid Park on November 15th. There will be performances by, of course, the Eli Young Band, but also the Josh Abbott Band, Thomas Rhett, and Cody Johnson. Get your tickets right now at Ticketmaster.com to be here for that. I want to hear the Alan Ashby Band.
Yeah, we need that, don't we,
You need to
Bart?
get out there and play, Ash.
What part are you going to play in that?
I'll be your promoter.
You're the drummer. You're the drummer, Bart.
Oh, yeah. Good luck keeping beat with me.
Chris Carter with strike one. Up for the second time. 2-1 Astros. Carter struck out in the second inning. Chris picked up his parents early this morning. They came into town for this final homestand of the year. He's been feeling a bit congested lately. No balls, 2 strikes.
By the way, did you get to see Julia Morales and her drumming skills? They were mad while we were in Seattle.
Yes, that was outstanding. So maybe we could put her in your band. And you got a new guitar, we're hearing?
I did get a new guitar. I shouldn't publicize such things, but
well, because you do bring it to the booth every night, so you don't want anybody to know that, right?
Kind of guy that would share at any given moment.
Carter rocks one on a line, but it's caught. Brantley just scorched that one.
That's the stroke that Bart Ennis was breaking down a little while ago, and again he nailed it, but nice and short, and batting practice is more about just kind of loosening up. If any of the fans had ever come out and watched early as Jeff Bagwell took batting practice, it wasn't a display of home runs. It was just staying on the ball, let the ball get deep on you and hit the ball the other way, and having a nice easy feeling entering game time. That's what Chris Carter's been doing.
Mark Krause is the batter now. There's strike one.
Of course, then Jeff Bagwell would get to game time and the beast would come alive.
Yeah. The adrenaline got to flowing and we saw a different version. Rolled, and it's backhanded by Santana and over to McAllister for out number 2.
Nice play by Santana. Finish it up with leading your pitcher to the bag, and a nice play by McAllister to finish this. Get that throw behind the pitcher, and it oftentimes will create some problems. Watch, it's not horrible, but that reach back while looking forward to the bag can cause a loss of that ability to catch the ball.
Two outs, and now Castro's the batter. Castro became the first Houston base runner. McAllister struck out 4 of the first 5, and then Castro lined a single to left field. There's ball 1. When the runner is below average, it does make a difference in making plays, doesn't it? When it's a Michael Bourne at his best, or Jose Altuve, somebody who really gets up the first base line, that hurrying effort can really cause mistakes.
Absolutely. Speed kills in this game. You love to have it.
That's a looping fly ball, and that's a fair ball inside the left field line for Brantley. Into second base, Castro, and twice he's gone to left field for hits tonight. That's double number 20.
Well, I don't know. Is this the rebirth of the left field hitting Jason Castro, or is it just one of those nights where it's happening naturally? You kind of hope a little bit of both, because you want it to be natural, and that's what I thought was the very natural stroke for Jason a year ago.
Looked like a hanging slider there. And he banged it off that left field wall. Another 2-out hit puts Castro aboard, and it's Marisnick batting now. That's hit number 5 for the Astros. So the second time through the order. Yes, the results are vastly different off McAllister. Bouncer slowly hit. The shortstop comes in. Jose Ramirez barehanding. No play anywhere. Infield hit for Marisnick and a 4-game hitting streak for Jake.
Jake's been a pleasant surprise and a little bit of a tough read for me since joining the team. Done a lot of things so well, but he's gotten a number of these little soft hits that have aided him in terms of the overall numbers, and so it's kind of hard to project what it might be over the full season.
Well, it is, and you know, with his frame, he has the ability to drive the ball, so who's to say that after a winter of work, he might come out in spring training and work with John Maley and start to lift the ball more.
Yeah, he's a big guy. That was the #1 thing I noticed when I met him is, boy, he's bigger than I thought. And he runs well, and he plays a great defense, strong throwing arm. He's got the tools you want.
He faked a little dash towards second. It was interesting to watch him do it. It was a fake all the way, and there's ball 1.
But when you're projecting toward a year and you watch this break, it's look like me trying to get a jump from first base. But it's hard to read. So what do you anticipate from Jake Marisnick? I'm not really sure right now.
Right. Now he's going. No fake here and no throw either. Nobody went to cover. And so Marisnick cruises into second base.
You know what I think just took place?
What?
I think Jake Marisnick, either on his own or by advice from the coaching staff or manager, put a bluff on the first time to see if one of the middle infielders were covering.
Yeah.
And when they were not, then it was go time on the next one.
That's excellent. So Gomes, with nobody covering, held the ball, and now it's 2-0. Well, that's good baseball.
That's pretty smart on somebody's part there.
Yes, it is. 2-1. So now a second runner has moved into scoring position for Domingo with 2 outs. Now Matt tries to make it work by driving in 2.
You know, we talk about possibly the skip or a coach being involved there. Tom Lawless has kind of freed up this running game once again.
Three balls and a strike. It's been a good run under Tom Lawless so far. Loose and easy baseball, but playing hard here in the month of September against good teams. And it's been aggressive baseball. Domingo swings and it goes to 3-2 now. Friday night in Anaheim, the Astros had 4 stolen bases. They lost the game 11-3, but that's an indicator of the kind of baseball Tom Lawless likes to play if the opportunities are there. There's a shot on the ground off the glove of Chisenhall, and a run scores. No, they get the out at first. They were able to recover with Ramirez coming over to get Dominguez. So Castro had stepped on the plate, but the run does not score. Instead, it's no runs, 2 hits. And here's the final out to keep this score at 2-1.
Indians here in the first of 4 next few days. Every Friday night home game is followed by spectacular fireworks presented by Marathon Oil Corporation. The last Friday night fireworks of 2014 is this Friday night after the Astros play the Seattle Mariners. Get tickets at 1-877-9-ASTROS or Astros.com.
Somebody got a souvenir and is very happy about it. It's a 2-1 ball game. The Astros lead it through 4. We go to inning number 5 for Colin McHugh. He's given up 3 hits, 1 unearned run through the first 4. Lonnie Chisenhall is the first man up here in the 5th inning. He singled to right earlier. The infield is shifted around, playing him to pull. Ball 1 upstairs, and McHugh consistently missing with the fastball early in the count tonight, but dealing with it quite well. He has struck out 6. He has not walked anybody.
Excellent curveball, great command of it. Uses that cutter effectively, and again the fastball misses on his arm side.
2-0.
It's a voice down there, by the way, Brent Strom, the pitching coach, who's done such a great job with the guys this year.
That voice is unmistakable.
And there's the little cutter, the slider, whatever you want to call it, that Colin turns to when he needs to throw a strike.
He has generated the 5th highest swing and miss rate on pitches in the strike zone in the American League. No swing and miss there. Here's Altuve diving on it, throwing and getting him.
Wow. So the potential batting champ can play a little D2, you're saying. That's a straight up ground ball to the second baseman. With the shift on, it leaves that gap. And this time the gap is not penetrated. That's a terrific play.
Great full extension. Then he twists and throws from the knees. Zach Walters is the batter. He struck out earlier.
There's a little version of the smile and a little bit of having fun again. That's been absent at times.
Rouse with the play. 2 outs. Well, this Astros team playing loose baseball here in the month of September has had an impact on the races.
Tom Lawless just kind of quietly goes about his business. Guy's a good golfer, I want to tell you that. And he just brings a go play and play well kind of mentality to this team.
Michael Bourne is 0 for 2, reached on an error, scored a run, and there's ball 1. Well, McHugh has done an outstanding job of pitching from behind in the count tonight, consistently behind on these hitters.
A changeup is kind of a version of a fastball. It's same delivery, different grip, and that tendency to miss on that side seems to come through also on the changeup.
Grossman moving in a few steps in left field. Punched on a line to left, but that's in for a hit in front of him. And Bourne singles his way aboard with 2 outs here in the 5th.
Again, the little cutter on the 2-0. And maybe Michael Bourne realizing, okay, this is the pattern here. Let's go ahead and jump on it if possible. But you can see just a little bit of a cutback version. You can see that spiral type spin. Bourne does a nice job keeping the barrel of the bat directly to the baseball.
He's aboard now for Ramirez. Ramirez sacrificed Bourne to third base in the first inning, line to left in the 3rd. Pulls this one, and it's backhanded by Krause for out number 3. No runs, a hit, and the man left. 2-1 Astros in the 5th.
move to the 5th. We've got a marriage proposal going on over here, and it's also time for our progressive fan of the game. And our progressive fan of the game tonight is one of the Sunshine Kids who was out here pregame and threw out the first pitch of the game. He is 5-year-old Holt Griffith, who's a little camera shy, but man, you should have seen the pitch. It was a fastball just on the outside corner. Max Stassi had to take his glove off and shake his hand. It came in so hard. That was a nice pitch, bud. Fastball? Yeah, fastball it is. All right, I'm with his parents, Aaron to my right, Crystal to my left, and his brother Grant right here. The Sunshine Kids, Aaron, have had such a great relationship with the Astros over the years. What has that meant to you guys coming out here tonight?
Oh, it's just really special to have the blessing. You know, Holt's going through a lot with his leukemia, and just to have the foundation give to the kids, it's so wonderful.
And you had to be proud of the job he did out there, because that was a heck of a pitch.
It was really good. We tried this past weekend to go a little bit further back out, but I didn't want to take him all the way to the mound.
No, he did a great job. So how are things going right now with his treatment?
He's in remission right now. He's going through delayed intensification, which is a little bit hard on his system right now, but we're looking forward to maintenance in about a month.
Well, that's great news. Great news for Holt and the entire Griffith family. Congratulations for being our fan of the game, pal. He's going to start working on a soft pretzel here in a minute. They're working on getting him one of those guys. Back up to you.
Thanks, Bart. 2-1 ball game with Petit batting and the 2-1 count on Gregorio. He fouls it back. Craig Biggio, of course, has been long time supporter of that organization, has had many functions for the Sunshine Kids here at the ballpark and in other places. And Craig is here tonight as well. There are meet and greets several times with the Sunshine Kids Foundation and Astros players. It's been a good association. Foul back. Still 2-2 to Petit. Petit in that number 9 spot. Got the rally started in the 3rd inning. With 1 out, he singled to left field and came around to score on the 2-run single by Altuve. Detroit is leading 6-0 in the middle of the 5th inning at Minnesota, and Victor Martinez is 2 for 3 in that game. His average has come up 2 points to 333.
I thought you were bearing nothing but good news.
Well, sorry about that. Just the facts, man, as you might have heard on Dragnet many decades ago.
Names are supposed to have been changed to protect the innocent.
Yeah. Who's it, Jack Webb?
Yes. Nice.
Fly ball to right field. David Murphy moving over. 1 out.
It was not Spud Webb, that much I know.
No, it was not Spud. 1 down, and it's Robbie Grossman. Robbie's been a good contributor offensively to this club in recent weeks. Since he came up from AAA, most recently July 8th, he's hit .260 with 30 walks, and that gives him a .359 on base average in 56 games. Batting average really not the key on Robbie. He squares around and takes a look at ball 1. Baltimore leads Toronto 5-2. They're in the bottom of the 6th at Baltimore. Wei-Yin Chen pitching against Marcus Stroman. 1-1. So now the real dilemma for the Orioles as they move on without Chris Davis serving a suspension that will go on into the playoffs. One ball, 2 strikes.
I don't think the Orioles can believe that they've got that chance right now. Clearly, if they get in, you always take your chance with anybody that has a shot to roll the dice. But they've just had too much unfortunate stuff go their way.
Robs them on their way. Yeah, a lot of power from Chris Davis. Bouncer to first base. Santana. 2 outs. Even though Davis is not having a very good year, still he presents that threat.
And now our Mako big hit of the game. We're talking Jose Altuve. Of course, we generally do. 2-run single that provided the only 2 runs of the night. Came in the 3rd inning. Hit number 207 for Jose. Go ahead and breathe. Each hit so big, and this one huge for the ball club. Craig Biggio, 1998. 210 hits that year. Boy, he did a lot of things way beyond just 210 hits that year.
Yes.
But that's the record for the ball club. 3 out there in front of Altuve right now.
Craig hit, I think, 20 homers that year, drove in about 80 or so. Now Altuve smacks one foul. There's strike one. Altuve 1 for 2 in this game. He is the Astros all-time career leader now in batting average at .301.
Watch him close, folks.
Reach for that one and falls behind 0-2. Really fooled by that pitch.
Yeah, it's a good-looking slider right there. Jose generally doesn't get fooled like that, but he tried to stay right on it. Yeah, I think a lot of people are aware, and they're going to get their shots of Jose.
There's a shot into left field. Altuve does it again. Another multi-hit game. 208 base hits.
Now, we mentioned the 4 consecutive games with 2 hits coming into this one, so 5 straight now. Take that, Victor Martinez and company.
What a batting race.
Man, he gets a fastball after missing that slider, and he's not fooled one tiny bit. You know, this is the guy that can hit it down the right field line or yank it to left. The infielders have to play straight up, and he didn't even leave them the opportunity to cross over step right here. Just a bullet.
He extends his own club record of multi-hit games. 5th straight 2-hit game, as Ash mentioned. Dexter Fowler backs away from it. Ball 1. That's 63 multi-hit games this year.
Well, that's insane.
So nobody in the history of the Astros has had that many. Derek Bell had the previous mark. Fowler with a ground into second. Walters on to first. It's no runs, 1 hit, 1 man left. After 5, it's 2-1 Houston. Presented by AT&T Uverse TV. Find out what's possible with AT&T. Call 1-800-PICK-ATT. Mobilizing your world. Good night for baseball in downtown Houston. We've had a little bit cooler weather over the weekend, but it was, I believe, 90 for a high today. Nonetheless, good weather here in the month of September, as this is the first of a 4-game series. There was an advisory earlier today, come to think of it, that the roof was going to be open tonight. So perhaps the weather forecast changed, but it has not been. We go to the 6th inning, and it's Colin McHugh.
Yeah, I understand you guys hogged up some pretty nice weather over the last few days.
We did not let you share in it in your mid-90s Anaheim environment.
And you're going to bring the heat right on back here.
We'll bring it.
Maybe Altuve's the one bringing it with him.
He's bringing it. Yeah. 2 more hits tonight. Here's Brantley. Now, first pitch curveball, a little bit different pattern here for Colin McHugh, and it's strike one to Bradley. Bradley doubled to right center in the third, but he was stranded at second base. He struck out in the first inning before the Tribe got its run on a Santana single to right. That's in, and it's 0-2 to Bradley. So far tonight, Altuve and Victor Martinez, vying for the batting crown in the American League, are both 2 for 3.
I don't know, is he nervous or is that just the routine?
Just what he does.
Yeah, it is what he does. It's not a new element of his game, that's for sure.
The Mets have now taken the lead on Miami. It's 5-3 Mets. They're in the top of the 8th inning. At one point, Jared Cozart had a 3-2 lead, but then the Mets got 3 in the home 7th. Cozart leaving after 6 innings, allowing 2 earned runs, and the bullpen gave it up. Well, that's a tough loss for the Marlins with Giancarlo Stanton down. DeGrom struck out 13 in his 7 innings tonight, giving up 3 earned runs. The Mets pitching staff could be something next year if they get Matt Harvey back healthy again.
You get Harvey back in there and they're going to be good, and Miami's got a chance to be spectacular.
Colin McHugh is a former Met.
They had no idea what they had in their hands, but that happens time and time again in this game.
Well, they traded him to the Rockies for Eric Young Jr. And then he was claimed on waivers by the Astros in December. One of the best acquisitions for this season by the Astros front office.
How about this deal? When the Rockies have some pitchers who are scuffling, imagine that. Keep an eye on them, because go elsewhere and they just might have some careers.
Well, teams are always watchful for that. 2-2, and the Rockies have been trying to develop their own for many years, realizing it would be tough for them to sign free agent pitchers because of the sky-high ERAs at Coors Field.
Nobody like Mike Hampton would ever go over there intentionally.
Well, yeah, they shell out all that money and then it doesn't work out for them. And that's the danger. That's why they want to develop their own. Fly ball out to right field. Marisnick. One down.
Yeah, the Rockies' attitude is, if you're going to fail, we want you to be one of ours.
White Sox lead 3-0 at Kansas City with John Danks shutting out the Royals and James Shields. Shields pitched a fine game last time out for Kansas City, but not a whole lot he can do when the Royals get 1 hit through 5. Carlos Santana is 1 for 2 tonight, an RBI single, first time up. Well, the Royals are up against it, even though they're right there, a game and a half behind Detroit. Detroit with a lot more veteran players who have been through the race before, compared to a Kansas City club not having reached the postseason play since 1985. Santana looks at ball 1. So as we look at the Central, we see that the Indians can be an impact team because they have 3 games left with the Royals. Tigers are looking good right now, even though they are only a game and a half ahead. 1-1 the count.
Yeah, the Tigers may have figured things out just in the nick of time. I don't know that that was the way Brad Ausmus and company wanted to make it happen, but could work out well in the end. Got 3 300 hitters right in the heart of that order.
1-2 to Santana. And now J.D. Martinez, one of those thumpers in the heart of their order.
Changeup hasn't been thrown many times tonight, but that's a good one.
Boy, it had that movement. It looked like it was in the strike zone, then moved out of it, Ash.
Kind of rolls those fingers over the top of the ball, and that imparts that spin.
And then a breaking ball down, evens the count at 2-2. The season series has ended with Detroit and Cleveland. Detroit won at 11-8, and Detroit took 7 of the last 8 from the Tribe. That's what has put them 6.5 behind. Santana's down on strikes. There is whiff number 7 for McHugh.
Get your running shoes out and join us for the Badges and Bases 10K, 5K run. That's this Saturday right here at Minute Maid Park and presented by the Astros and Houston Police Foundations. There's also a kids fun run for ages 12 and under. Participants will receive a commemorative t-shirt. Register at astros.com/race.
There's ball 1 to Jason Kipnis. He is 0 for 2. Kipnis has spent some time on the DL with a strained right oblique this year.
By the way, Brownie, you mentioned Matt Harvey just moments ago, and Matt Harvey for the Mets threw off a mound today at Citi Field, and apparently all is coming along after that Tommy John surgery.
Saw a rumor that they might shut him down now for the winter until the throwing program would start, which will be what, for a lot of pitchers, maybe in December?
Yeah, you would think so.
Line drive hit to center field for Kipnis.
But it would appear that Matt Harvey is well on the road to recovery.
Kyle Crockett, a left-hander, is warming up in the bullpen for Cleveland now. That's hit number 5 for the Tribe. Yan Gomes will be the batter. He's 0 for 2. Crockett, a lefty, joined by a right-hander, C.C. Lee. C.C. Lee had a bout with wildness yesterday. Threw a pitch back over the plate on an intentional walk that got by the catcher. Liner and backhanded, knocked down anyway. Now the throw and a stretch by Krause. And Petit is able to make that play on Gomes. No runs, 1 hit, 1 man left. Petit got a glove on it, kept it close, and then on over to a stretching Mark Krause. 2-1 Houston.
Astros as we move to the bottom of the 6th inning here at Minute Maid Park. And our last Dollar Dog Thursday of 2014 is this Thursday, the 18th. Join us to see the Astros take on these Indians at 7:10 in the series finale and scarf down some dollar dogs for the last time this season. And you know what, guys? Layla Rahimi's working that game, so I may just come out, you know, as a fan and just make a pig of myself.
You're allowed.
And then eat some hot dogs.
Justin Sellers takes over at second base for Zach Walters. 2-1 game. Chris Carter's the batter. Strikeout and a liner to left field. There's strike 1 at 95, so Mr. McAllister has not lost any velocity since the beginning of this game. Bullpen is busy. He has been pitching in relief, so probably will not stay in too much longer. He's thrown 75 pitches. That's called a strike, and that makes it 0-2. McAllister spent some time on the disabled list with back inflammation earlier this year. His last 2 outings have been in relief. That's punched foul by Carter. September 6th was his last time to the mound.
Well, I would think the Indians would be lifted considerably with this outing tonight.
Now for a spot start. Foul back by Carter. McAllister has not had a major league win since April 21st against Kansas City. He's lost 6 consecutive decisions.
You've seen the kid Brandon Maurer with Seattle.
Yes.
Right-hander who started the year and part of last year as a starter, and he got racked around. And they stuck him in the bullpen, and his arm went from about a 92 to 94 kind of a fastball up to 97, up to 100 miles an hour. And he has turned into one of those one-inning guys that can flat bring it.
You bet he has.
And so I was thinking the same thing about this McAllister. We've seen him tonight up to 97. Never know what he could do.
He could be a factor in relief. Pat Listash over for the bouncer. Orbit doing his high wire act.
It's intriguing watching Chris Carter fouling off tough pitches where in the past that just wasn't a part of his game.
Where is Orbit's spotter anyway?
He needs that pole. What do the high wire artists call that pole they carry around?
I don't know.
Extra weight?
Orbit needs one, yeah. He needs one badly. Mascot down.
That would seem to hurt.
Oh. That's painful to watch. Carter takes it. It's a 2-ball, 2-strike count.
97 again. This is impressive. And then impressive Chris Carter. He's a hitting streak kind of a hitter now, not just a home run hitter.
Orbit's walking with a limp. Carter lives in the Las Vegas area. He works out sometimes at UNLV, has other areas where he does some hitting. He starts hitting in November. He'll want to stay in the same type of preparation that he's had to make this habit of getting ready for games here the last couple of months. The results have been spectacular for him. Just into that mindset of getting ready to compete more than just swinging the bat and hitting the ball inside the indoor cage. Out to right field, Murphy. Carter has been a real story this year. Such a turnaround season for him. We've been racking our brains trying to think of somebody who's done what he's done in recent years, and it's just been a night and day reversal since July 1st for him.
He had gotten to a point where I'm not sure anybody felt it was going to work, and yet he found something practical to grab onto. He came out of spring training this year. There was this talk about we're going to lay off the slider down and away. Well, not sure if I would categorize that as practical. That comes down to being able to do the right things, and suddenly he's found something right about whether it's batting practice or something he's clearly thinking about in the game, but it's working.
Strike to Mark Krause. Krause is 0 for 2. 7 hits for the Astros, 5 for the Indians. 0-2. Dodgers and Rockies are tied 2-2 in the 4th at Colorado.
By the way, if you're looking for a pitch to drive, that changeup through the heart of the plate up above the belt might be one to pick out.
That's strike 3 call. Number 6 for McAllister.
That was quite a sequence. Polished off with paint at high velocity on the inside edge.
Remember that change up preceding it, and it looked like about 140 miles per hour then. Castro has 2 hits to left field, a single and a double tonight. Clayton Kershaw with that win yesterday for the Dodgers, now 19-3.
Is he your MVP?
Well, I find it difficult to give the MVP to a pitcher.
You and a lot of people.
But he does rate strong consideration.
Yeah, I tend to be in that camp generally. I'm not always, but Cy Young Award is the lofty award for pitchers. Do they need to cross over? I don't know. But in the case of Kershaw, he's doing the tight wire on that one.
He's in that Bob Gibson territory right now.
Start talking Bob Gibson, and of course, because he's a Dodger, Sandy Koufax.
Again, it goes to left field off the bat of Castro, but this one will be caught by Brantley. For a 1-2-3 6 for McAllister, it's 2-1 Houston through 6. For the AT&T Rewind, showing you the evening of Colin McHugh. He allowed an unearned run in the first inning, but really had to work out of further trouble there. He got the strikeout stuff going on a lot of good curveballs, especially to left-handed batters. Has not been working consistently ahead in the count, but the results have been McHugh-like with 7 strikeouts and no walks through 6 innings, giving just that one unearned run on the 2-base error by Mark Krause, allowing the leadoff man in the game, Michael Bourne, to score. It could have been a disastrous first. Instead, those numbers are very good tonight, Ash.
Just keeps finding a way, even when he's missing with that fastball or the changeup that we mentioned. He can come back with the cutter. He can throw it a little bit larger slider version. Curveball has been exceptional. He'll use the top end of the strike zone as well as the lower portion, very much like what Brent Strom preaches all year long. When it's all said and done, Colin McHugh is as consistent as you want to see.
There is some bullpen action for the Astros as McHugh works the 7th inning here. He's thrown 85 pitches. Kevin Chapman is warming up. Bottom of the order here for Cleveland in the 7th. David Murphy puts it in the air. Gregorio Petit is calling. 1 pitch, 1 out for McHugh in the 7th. Clayton Kershaw 19-3 with a 1.70 ERA. Giancarlo Stanton 37 homers, 105 runs batted in. Leads the league in all categories, including OPS and slugging. What's your pick?
I'd go Giancarlo Stanton right now. It's unfortunate, obviously, in multiple regards that Stanton has been beamed by the pitch and is out of action. He wants to come back before the end of the year. But, boy, you've got to consider Clayton Kershaw. And generally speaking, I'm with you. I wouldn't consider a pitcher for that.
Ball 1 to Chisenhall is 1 for 2. In the last 19 starts, you see Chapman there in the Astros bullpen. For 19 starts, Kershaw is 16-1 with a 1.26 ERA. Only one other pitcher has done that since 1913. Bob Gibson, 17-1 with a 0.72 ERA over a 19-start stretch in '68.
And I guess bottom line is, what player helps his team win the most games? Now, if Kershaw were not on the mound, somebody else would be. Would that guy be a 500 pitcher? I don't know exactly how they determine that, but clearly Kershaw is way above the normal guy that runs to the hill.
Chisholm smacks one. It's knocked down, and McHugh throws to first base, but is he all right? He's in pain. It's the left hand or wrist area. That sharp line drive knocked his glove off. He got the out, but you could tell he was in pain. He's reaching for the left hand.
As he reaches in the hand, it makes me wonder, did this ball possibly hit leather? But it didn't sound like leather. Sounded like flesh. And that's not a good sound when you're talking line drive back out of pitcher. See if they can pick it up at all. I don't know where that hit. Can you tell?
It looked like the left wrist above the glove, but maybe we can see it here.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Clearly flesh. And
it looked more like a tendon instead of a bone there, Ash.
You've got those small bones in there as well, though, and you hope that that's not going to be the case for Colin. He's not the kind of guy that when you walk down the street and meet him, you would say, boy, this is a tough guy. I'm not going to mess with him. But you watch him compete, and he's a tough guy, and he looks like he wants to stay with this one.
Gritting his teeth. He's coming out. 6 2/3 innings. His 9th straight start, allowing 2 runs or less. First Astro pitcher since Mike Scott to put together that many consecutive starts, allowing 2 runs or less in games. And the only run he's allowed was an unearned run in the first inning. But now, as he leaves, it's a painful exit for Colin McHugh after 89 pitches. With the score, Houston 2, Cleveland 1.
Pat, the #1 app for live baseball. Get this award-winning app for your smartphone or tablet for the rest of the season for only $9.99. Visit the App Store or MLB.com today. Not to mention Play Store and maybe others.
Kevin Chapman had been warming up, and then the injury to Colin McHugh cost him the rest of the night. So now it's Chapman coming in, and a right-hander is now working as well in the Houston bullpen. Mike Aviles will be coming up as a pinch hitter. He's a right-handed batter. Chapman 1-0 with a 6.32 ERA. Samuel DeDuno is the pitcher who's warming up right now, a right-hander for the Astros.
Now, right now is the time to not only get loose but throw strikes. And again, it tends to be the issue for Kevin Chapman. There you see where that ball hit specifically on the left wrist. Colin McHugh got nailed pretty darn good, and let's just keep our fingers crossed that everything is going to be fine with Colin. Well, the Astros have been very blessed to have this guy in the rotation.
McHugh began the night with an ERA of 2.79, and he lowered it. Chapman will get all the warm-up time he needs because of the injury to McHugh. Usually relievers don't need a whole lot, and he had been warming up anyway at the time of the injury. It appears he's ready to go now. Chapman last pitched in Anaheim Saturday night. One scoreless inning in a 5-2 Angels win. Gave up an infield hit to Gordon Beckham in that game. And his last 3 outings have produced scoreless baseball for Chapman. One of those here against the Angels, the other one in Seattle on September 8th. Now with Terry Francona calling on Mike Aviles to pinch hit now, he'll have a right-handed batter. Aviles has played some second base, some third base, some left field, even some shortstop, right field, and center field this year for Mike Aviles. He's hit .279 in his last 15 games.
Apparently Angel Hernandez, the first base umpire, had an important phone call to take and has now gotten back out to first.
Aviles is hitting .248. There's ball one of the former Kansas City Royal. He's had 311 at bats with those numbers. Ground ball left of the shortstop Petit. One hop throw, and it's dug out by Mark Krause with a fine play. That's a 1-2-3 7th. At 7th inning stretch time, it's a tight one, 2-1 Houston.
Tonight, it's Hector Ruiz sending us this great picture. Hector, obviously a proud papa. Tweet your photo to hashtag CSNFanPhoto for a chance to be shown in an upcoming game broadcast brought to you by AT&T. Brownie, back up to you.
Thank you, Bart. Hector Ruiz there. Rio Ruiz playing tonight for Lancaster in the deciding game in that playoff series in the California League. For the Lancaster Jethawks. Championship game on the line tonight against Visalia. That's game 5 of a best-of-5 series, and the Jethawks will start Kyle Westwood. CC Lee is the right-hander warming up right now, Ash.
I was going to say that's late into the year to be playing for a minor leaguer, so that says things have gone quite well in that regard. CC Lee, that is not Cliff Lee now for the Indians. A little earlier in the ballgame, CC Lee was the guy that was being pranked by the teammates. Got to be aware. So he makes it all the way out to the bullpen, and yep, they got me. Yep.
Clean up, aisle 7.
He is 27 years old, from Taiwan. He was on the 08 Olympic team from Taiwan. Went to college in Taipei. Signed as a free agent by the Indians in 08. Pitched 8 times for Cleveland last year. Jake Marisnick facing him. And there's ball 1. Quite a bonus performance from McAllister tonight. 6 innings, 7 hits, 2 runs, no walks, 6 strikeouts. He threw 91 pitches, 64 of them strikes. Oh, line shot, rip foul.
That's the swing that I want to see to evaluate Jake Marisnick a little bit more. Getting the head out and hitting the ball hard. And it's happening. So, you know, all may be very well with Jake Marisnick as one of the future outfielders for the club. That's a very good hack.
He stung that one. Popped up. Santana comes over into the seats, and it's 1-2 to Marisnick. Bob Feller jersey there in the stands.
Got to be a hard thrower to wear that Feller jersey.
Oh, yeah. Nick Hagedorn is warming up. He's a left-hander for Cleveland. Marisnick had an infield single in the 4th, stole a base. That's his one here to second. Whoa, it's barehanded. Well, it bounced back to his right, and Mike Aviles was going to glove it, it appeared. Then he just reached out the bare hand.
You know, that's cute and slick and all those things, but I'm not sure the glove couldn't have gone right back there to make that play, but okay. When it's all said and done, it's an out, and that's all the skip cares about.
In Omar Vizquel fashion, he barehands it.
That's exactly it.
Matt Dominguez, 0 for 2. Strike 1. We always thought that Vizquel was so good he looked bored, so occasionally he would barehand the ball just to challenge himself, right?
I got to see him his final year in the big leagues up in Toronto, and he could still do all the magic. He was smoke and mirrors. You never saw him, but boy, it worked all the time for that guy.
0-2 to Domingo. Petit is on deck. 7 hits for the Astros, 5 for the Indians. In the air to left center field, Brantley cuts over. 2 outs.
Brownie, as you mentioned Omar Vizquel, it's so hard to say who was the best responder, who was the best ever at shortstop. And I got to see Ozzie Smith for a long time, and he's on that list without question. Omar Vizquel, I can't imagine that anybody utilized a great set of tools any better than he did.
Yeah. He was fabulous. Gregorio Petit is 1 for 2. He started the rally in the 3rd inning by singling to left. Luis Aparicio, one of the greats. Dave Concepcion was very, very good. Larry Boa. Ozzie Smith, you mentioned. Petit takes ball 1. Lancaster got a run in the 1st, leads Visalia 1-0 in the top of the 2nd at Lancaster in the deciding game of that championship series. Kyle Westwood is on the mound. The RBI went to Jack Mayfield. That's the only Houston farm team that can bring home a ring this year. Apparently there may be a change in the AAA affiliation from what we've been reading. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Petit. Scott Atchison warming up. He's a right-hander for Cleveland. There are rumors that the Astros may be shifting their AAA affiliation, perhaps to Albuquerque or Fresno.
You know, Albuquerque's a great site. Other than the elevation, I'm not sure you get great reads on the numbers from both offense and defense there.
Yeah. Well, Tony DeFrancesco, who's managed at Oklahoma City the last few years, said exactly that before the game tonight.
I think Oak City is an ideal place. It's relatively close to Houston, and you're going to get numbers that you can believe in a bit.
Yeah. It's a liner over short into left field for a hit. Petit having a night of it, 2 for 3. Just made an excellent defensive play. So out of the 9 spot, he's a factor in this game.
I don't know about anybody else, but I'm starting to become a believer. A little bit of a small sample, I will grant that, but seen a guy that seems to handle shortstop, can throw, and swing a powerful bat.
If nothing else, he's in your mix for a bench job for next year's Astros team.
Well put, and of course, I've said many times Marwin Gonzalez is a guy that I think deserves a great shot. He's done a terrific job this year, but those are the 2 names right now for me.
We have another pitching change. We'll be right back with the score. Houston 2, Cleveland 1.
The 7th. Well, earlier on Twitter, we asked you all to tweet us your favorite memories of 1998, which is the same year Craig Biggio set the Astros hit record, of which Jose Altuve is now trying to break. Here are some of the best tweets. As D-Train tweets, I was 6 years old in 1998, and the Pokemon craze just started to sweep America. Astros Train Guy tweets, I was 20 at San Jacinto College and listening to something called Chumbawamba. So in other words, he liked to get knocked down and get up again. Thank you very much for tweeting me at HoChenCSN. Guys, over to you.
Thank you, Howard. Nick Hagedorn's been warming up. It's 2-1 Astros in the house where number 7 played so effectively for years.
I don't know about you, Brownie, but I was 6 years of age in 1998, and I loved Randy Johnson joining the club.
You were 6?
It's my story.
That's helpful to a lot of us out there.
You come up with your story. That's mine.
Hagedorn throws to first. Petit the base runner, 2 outs. Robbie Grossman the batter. Grossman doubled to left in the 3rd inning and then scored on the 2-run single by Altuve. He's 1 for 3. So Hagedorn forces Grossman to bat from the right side, where he's a .213 hitter compared to .226 left.
Now I'm convinced as to why that was done.
That's ball 1. Not compelling numbers.
Mike Scioscia pulled one in the 9th inning yesterday that had me stumped. A couple of outs and went to the bullpen. Anyway.
A couple of outs in the 9th, trailing
6-1, and brought on a left-hander. Already had a left-hander on the hill. Brought in a left-hander to face a right-handed bat, and okay.
Well, with his offense, he probably figured he would do everything he could do. to deliver that quick strike capability late.
I thought we had gotten to a point in the game where it could not have gotten any slower, but Socha came up with a way.
Don't you find, though, that in the month of September, for those contending teams, they just will not give up on a game?
I heard a great suggestion. Yes is the answer. And it might have been Larry Durker talking about this. Go ahead and expand your rosters if you want, but on any given night, you still have to have a 25-man roster that's available that night.
Brad Mills was in favor of that very thing. Probably still is. He advocated that a few years ago when he was the manager here.
I would cross over to that dark side given the opportunity.
By the way, we checked with Millsy. Remember last year when the Indians were in town? That was well over a year ago. It was earlier in the season last year. He had a big ceremony. He and his son were involved in a bull raising business, and they had a young bull. They named him Altuve. We asked him how Altuve the bull was doing. He's been sold.
Oh, that's a bad move.
They sold high. They felt they sold high.
Well, they better have gotten quite a bit. And I'd like to know what the qualities were that led them to name the bull Altuve.
Well, I think the qualities we talked about earlier, but I remember talking to Brad that afternoon, and he said, "Oh, I have to go see Jose Altuve. We have to go get a picture taken with a bull."
And you didn't know what he meant?
I had no idea what he was talking about. That is strike three. Grossman thought ball four, and he's very disgusted with the Larry Vanover strike three call to end the seventh inning with no runs a hit and a man left. 2-1 Astros. Jose Altuve chases Biggio's single-season hits record against one of baseball's best pitchers, and an Astros rookie looks for a second straight quality start in Game 2 of their series with the Indians. Pre-game live starts tomorrow night at 6:30 p.m. only on Comcast Sportsnet.
So we were playing in France. Tomorrow starting pitching brought to you by Chevron. It's Corey Kluber going for the Indians. He's been great. 15-9, 245 among the leaders. Nick Tropiano, second major league start. And he had a nice first one, 1-0 in the big leagues. It's an easy game, 360 that earning.
Kluber has an explosive slider. The Coneheads will be here tomorrow night as well as tonight's game.
That's quality stuff, seeing the Coneheads make it out.
Kevin Chapman came in, got the final out in the seventh inning in relief of the injured Colin McHugh. Now he starts the eighth inning with Michael Bourne in the box. Bourne taking ball one. Bourne is 1 for 3. Bullpen is ready for the Astros. Matt Dominguez plays on the grass at third. John Singleton just entered at first base. He's shortened up. Sails by everybody.
It's one of those left-handed batters for Kevin Chapman to go right after and get, but as often is the case, falling behind immediately.
Singleton at first base for Mark Krause.
You got to make your defensive replacements.
Lefty Tony Sipp is at work in the bullpen alongside right-hander Samuel Deduno.
I think Tony Sipp's arm's going to fall off literally when the season's over.
2-1. Big assignment here for Chapman with a 1-run lead. 2 balls, 2 strikes. As you're well aware, Ash, quite often a manager in Tom Lawless's shoes wants to really try some things here in the month of September, perhaps expand the roles of some players who have not had the more important roles.
Well, I don't know if you can wear extra padding for that.
I don't think that works. 3-2.
Somebody's not pleased with that one. Yeah, you know, and for Tom Lawless, really the mandate right now, self-imposed or whatever, is win. Let's see some guys that can go out and help this ball club win.
Wow. Struck him out looking on the slider.
Bring that 3-2 breaking ball. There you go.
Big pitch for Chapman.
That's a big pitch to call for Jason Castro. When you miss with it, it looks really bad, or used to anyway. And right now, you just pick up the strikeout.
Now the switch hitting Ramirez bats. He's 0 for 2 with a sac bunt. Got to ask you a question about Castro receiving that slider. Inside slider to a left-handed batter. Boy, it's necessary to keep that mitt back, isn't it?
Exactly. You said the key word. In keeping the glove back, you let the ball travel more and give the perception, if nothing else, that the ball got the plate.
Dominguez, 2 outs.
It's one of the things that Carlos Corcoran does really well. Keeps the glove near his body, catches the ball deep, and that tends to make a real soft reception. And Jason Castro's gotten a lot better in that regard.
Chapman has retired 3 in a row. Now it's Brantley, another left-handed hitter, who's 1 for 3. One-run ball game tonight. The Astros have really improved in winning the one-run affairs. They're 17-24, but their record was a whole lot worse than that. They won a few one-runners from contending teams here in the month of September. There is strike 1.
But Brownie, it continues to be ultimately the pitching that's getting this done.
Yes.
30 runs scored in 9 games on this road trip, and they went 5-4. That's pretty solid pitching work.
0-2 to Brantley. Astros won a 2-1 game at Seattle last Tuesday night.
It's that low strike we've been talking about recently.
Yeah.
You go up to the front of the plate where the ball crosses. Does it get some of the bottom of the knees? In most cases, yes is the answer.
Astros won a 4-3 game at Oakland a week ago yesterday. 1-2, and you and Blummer were discussing that story that we all read several days ago about more low strikes being called this year. That is being given as one of the reasons for the lower batting averages around baseball.
I think it's come about because when you use the camera technology and everything else they have available, you find out that ball is in the strike zone, some portion. And so, look, if it's a strike, let's start calling it a strike, and that's what's happening. Furthermore, it's when you go to spring training or all the sessions that go on, the thousands upon thousands of bullpen sessions over the course of a season, that's where pitchers are trying to throw the ball. That's where the catcher and the pitching coach are saying, put it. And when you've done that in the past, all you got was a ball for it.
Out into center field for a looping hit for Brantley.
That's a good-looking hitter.
Yes, he is, and he's 2 for 4 tonight.
Like him a lot. Those hands just stay in position. You get a chance to watch a guy like this hit kids, look at the hands, how they stay in a position. You couldn't quite see it there. Up and then directly to the ball. And that's all it is. And so many of the great hitters, Paul Molitor comes to mind. Hands in position and directly to the ball.
That's a two-strike hit, and it brings out Tom Lawless. Kevin Chapman coming out of the game. And the Astros have been warming up the right-hander, Samuel DeDuno. 2-1 Houston. 1 on, 2 outs in the 8th. Back in a moment.
Change here with 2 out in the 8th. It's a good time to remind you that Astros Fan Appreciation Day is coming up Sunday when the Astros take on the Mariners in the season's final home game. 10,000 fans will receive a 2014 team poster courtesy of the Houston Chronicle, and every half inning we'll be giving away prizes to lucky fans throughout the ballpark. So come out early and get your 2014 team poster. Brownie, back to you.
Thanks, Bart. Here's right-hander Samuel DeDuno in the game. Carlos Santana is 2 for 16 in his career against DeDuno. Runner at first is Brantley. 2 outs in the 8th inning. Altuve's playing out in right field for Santana, who's 1 for 3 an RBI single. And that's ball 1. DeDuno pitcher number 3 of the night for Tom Lawless. Santana's looping single went over Altuve into right. DeDuno is 2-5. His ERA 4.73. Pitched in the Anaheim series Friday night. That was his first outing as an Astro. They just had not been able to find a situation for him since he joined the club. Claimed off waivers from Minnesota the 30th of August, and he was pitching for the first time as an Astro September 12th.
There were no guarantees for some of the guys coming in to join the ball club. Be here, be ready in the event the opportunity comes along, and now a couple of opportunities for DeDuno.
Things did not go well for him in his Astros debut. He gave up 2 hits and 2 runs in 1 1/3 innings Friday night. That was an 11-3 Angel win over the Astros, and the game was decided before he got in. He misses there and falls behind 3-1 to Santana.
It's a pretty wicked looking pitch. Good location as well.
DeDuno's 31. He's from the Dominican Republic. Colorado signed him in 03. He's been with the Minnesota Twins the last couple of years. It's laced to right field and in for the catch is Marisnick. That ball was scorched. No runs a hit and a man left. 2-1 Houston. 8 hits for the Astros, 2 by that man, number 27, Jose Altuve.
It just keeps chugging along, keeps coming up with the multi-hit games, the first hit of the night, driving in the only 2 Houston runs. So obviously a very big one. Then he raked one into left field. 208 hits as he stands. That's number 208, Jose Altuve. He's just running away and hiding in terms of total hits in the league and in Major League Baseball. Now it's down to the batting race. And got himself a nice little lead. But you got to keep swinging that bat, and I see no reason to think he's going to stop.
Victor Martinez is 2 for 4 tonight for Detroit. Victor's hitting .332. Jose Altuve is 2 for 3. He's at .341, and it's a race. I mean, they're both really going through the month of September at a high clip. Scott Atchison throws, and there is strike 1.
It's that time of year, Brownie, where if you're Victor Martinez, you go out and go 2 for 4. That's getting the job done, and you raise 1 point.
Zach.
All you can do.
Curveball from Atchison is strike 2 call. Well, Altuve with 2 hits tonight. Now with 208. 2 away from tying Craig Biggio's franchise record. 1 and 2.
What is this we're looking at? A relief pitcher, a bullpen guy who works quickly?
You have not seen this particular breed of pitcher this year, have you?
Not much. All breaking balls. And I think Atchison or Yan Gomes or both might have seen the slider swung at and missed by Altuve earlier in the game. They came back with the fastball. It was raked into left field. So it looks like breaking ball is the idea for the moment.
Atchison went to high school in the Woodlands. Line shot, right field line. That will drop. In for a hit. Hit number 3 of the night for Altuve. And he's into second and stretching it for third. Here's the relay to third, and the tag not in time. Jose Altuve remains on fire. That's hit number 209. 1 away from tying Craig Biggio for the club all-time high.
You know, in describing Jose Altuve, sometimes you're kind of forced to say, look, this guy can hit the right field chalk as well as the left field chalk. And if this isn't the perfect example, I don't know what is. Because I'm not so sure that ball didn't hit chalk as it went down the right field side. Boy, that makes it all feel good when you get 3 hits. Thank you.
That one's ruled a triple, his 3rd triple of the year. Infield moves in. Fowler 0 for 3. Big run at third here. And it's ball 1. Another 3-hit game for Jose Altuve, his 23rd 3-hit game of the year. He leads the league in that department.
You know, if there's any self-doubt, and I doubt that there's a whole lot of that for Jose, a night like this, with everything on your shoulders the way it is, down to 13 games to play, has to go a long way to helping you feel like, you know what, this is where I belong.
Sharply hit foul. 2 balls and a strike. Altuve's like a Gatling gun the way he's spitting out hits this year. McHugh had a contusion of his left forearm that forced Colin from the game. That's a good report.
That is a very good one, Brownie.
Fowler's 2-2 on the count now after that swing and a miss.
It's a big run to get for Houston. Yeah, the smiles are coming much more easily right now.
He's doing everything he can humanly do to win this title. 3-2, and not to stop there either, but also to win games. He's had a lot of hits in these types of situations this year.
I wonder what's going through his mind. There's a lot going on. He's going to win, very possibly, 3 races this year.
His average is now 342, Ash.
Phenomenal stuff. And you know, I had looked back some time ago over the last week. I'm going to retrace and see if I can find the numbers I'm thinking of at the moment. But Altuve, when he first this year got over 330 as a hitter, from that point he has maintained it.
Flared near the left field line. Chisenhall tries the over the shoulder, can't make the catch.
If Chisenhall caught this ball, I think Altuve might have successfully tagged up and scored.
Yes, sir.
Brownie, it was, I'm talking at the end of ball games, June 19th rather this year at Tampa Bay. Altuve finished the night at 331. June 19th. He has not relinquished at least 330 since at the end of a night.
So consistent. He went up to 347 after the June 29th game. So he's given away very little ground since the end of June on batting average.
And you can take it to the middle of June for that matter, but it's really impressive. And to me, it's all the more of a statement that says maybe this is what you're looking at now for the next number of years with Altuve.
That's rocked to center field. That'll get Altuve home as Michael Bourne backs up. It'll be 3-1 when Altuve scores. It's his 80th run of the year. 3-1 Astros on the Fowler sac fly. And Altuve set it up with the leadoff triple.
So how do you hit over 330 for 3 months in a row? You utilize the whole field. You put the ball on the barrel of the bat time and time again. And maybe you get a little fortune going your way as you shoot one just inside the line down the right field side. But I'll tell you what, that's about being good and not about being lucky.
Chris Carter takes. There's ball one to Carter.
Leo DeRocher might add that it doesn't hurt to get a little luck once in a while. Was it Leo DeRocher said, I'll take lucky over good?
Might have been.
Can't remember. Seems like weeks ago.
Well, you find, don't you, in professional sports that those people who are called lucky are very good players.
They keep winning, that's what I know.
They do create some of their own breaks. Right through the legs of the pitcher, but second sacker is there, and it's 2 outs.
American League MVP. I don't know. What do you think? I don't think it's clear cut. I've said for weeks that I thought Jose Abreu was the American League MVP. Nelson Cruz has a great assortment of numbers that would indicate he's the guy. Victor Martinez as well. Jose Altuve is going to be on that list. But I think when it all washes out, Mike Trout with a strong run at the end, and we saw what he did against the Astros with some home run balls, I think he's going to win it. Jose Abreu has given him a great run this year.
I think Trout will win it. I think a lot of it has to do with being on a first-place team. Certainly there's no way to ignore the contributions of Abreu and that fantastic rookie year. White Sox are not a contending team. I think that'll work against him. Nelson Cruz brings a strong case with what he's done for that Baltimore club as well. Another pitching change here for the Tribe. Pitcher number 5 will be taking his warm-up tosses. Jose Altuve has had a 3-hit night. It's 3-1 Houston. Houston Astros baseball on Comcast Sportsnet is presented by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit us at geico.com or call 1-800-947-AUTO. Kyle Crockett takes over. It's a 3-1 Astros lead. 2 outs in the bottom of the 8th, and John Singleton is batting for the first time tonight, taking strike 1. Mark Krause was the starter at first base. He was 0 for 3. Singleton has come off the bench. He's played a little first base so far. Now gets his first plate appearance of the night. Takes that one from Crockett, and it's a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Crockett is 22 years old. Singleton at 175 has 13 homers. He's driven in 44. Crockett a 4th-round draft choice in 2013. Liner to right field. Murphy to end the 8th. 1 run, 1 hit, and Altuve triple, his 3rd hit of the night. It's been another exciting evening for fans of Altuve and the Astros. They take a 3-1 lead to the 9th. It's 3-1. Jose Altuve has been an impact player again tonight. 3 of the 9 hits belong to him. He's driven in 2. He has scored a run. So he's had a hand in every run tonight, Ash.
That's kind of been the story of the season with Jose Altuve. It started nice, but it has swelled here at the end. And they rely on this bat. I don't know, is he becoming a guy that you could see as a 3-hitter in your order? Obviously, the way he's handled things as the 2-hitter likely keeps him there. And like the Angels keep their big guy, Mike Trout, in the 2 spot, maybe that's exactly what the Astros do with Altuve.
Well, the great thing for the Astros fans here at Minute Maid Park is they're going to get a chance to see him make some club history during this homestand, it would appear. At least we hope so. Craig Biggio is here tonight. Craig will probably be here when Altuve goes by him with hit number 211. That's what we're hoping anyway this week. Chad Qualls comes out of the bullpen with a 3-1 lead for the Astros. He's 1-5 with a 3.59 ERA. Recently, he's had some right hip problems that have kept him out of the action.
Hey, he's been that lockdown guy in the bullpen the Astros have needed to help this club ascend to the level they have this year. But like you say, Brownie, a little bit of a hip problem recently, and good to see him out on the hill.
It's his first outing since September 6th. So 9 days ago at Oakland, that blown save and loss. The last outing for Qualls. There is strike 1. He did not retire a batter in that 4-3 loss. Came in with a couple of men on base, and Jed Lowry wound up with a game-winning hit. Gets a swing there from Jason Kipnis, and now is out in front of him, 0-2 in the count. And there are a couple of ways of looking at this season for Chad Qualls. As he said it, Oakland is his daddy. So you take his stats against Oakland and his stats against the rest of the league, and they are quite different. is by Kipnis, and the strikeout is completed by Castro throwing to Singleton.
Quality pitch, quality work by Jason Castro, getting down to ensure the ball wouldn't get by that slider in the dirt and get your strikeout so often on the breaking ball in the dirt.
It's out number 1, and now it's Yan Gomes. Ball's trying for save number 18 of the year. Colin McHugh would be a 10-game winner if he gets it. Gomes 0 for 3. Murphy's on deck. That's in for strike 1. Do you think the fact that Oakland has a lot of left-handed hitters, and a lot of those hitters are very selective, plays into Qualls' difficulties against the A's?
You know, my honest reaction would be, and that's a very logical reason, but unfortunately for me, a lot of the times explanations in this game don't come down to logic. They come down to quirkiness, and you play 162 games and you run that marathon, and there are going to be some spots where blisters flare up and just oddities go on, and for me that's kind of what happens, and I'm not sure anybody can explain it. Let's watch next year and see how the A's do against Chad Qualls.
Let's make it a date. 1-2.
I know you're good with that.
Yeah, a lot of people are good with that. We just don't know where we're going to be watching. Twins got 2 in the 8th to tie the Tigers. 6-6. They go to the still batting in the bottom of the 8th inning. Scherzer in 7 innings gave up 4 earned runs tonight for Detroit. Bouncer, Qualls knocks it down with a bare hand. 2 outs. Once that bare-handed stuff.
Yeah, you got yourself an out, but you could lose a season by doing that sort of thing. That's just the competitor coming out right there. You react. I remember watching Gaylord Perry back in the day, sticking his leg out and knocking balls down time and time again. And his shins were just destroyed, but he had more angry hitters about the fact that he had gotten them out on hot shots up the middle.
He will be allowed to throw some warm-ups after that bare-handed knockdown, and then he got Gomes.
Well, that's kind of the Ryan Duran thing right there. Yeah. Wore the big thick glasses, and he'd warm up through about close to 100 miles an hour, people would say. I don't know if legend is true, but he'd throw it up on the screen and then grab his glasses and try to wipe them off while staring like he couldn't see anything between himself and home plate. Put the glasses back on and say, "I'm ready."
Rob Dibble might have done that a few times without the glasses.
Yeah, that was a beautiful thing.
Maybe John Rocker.
Yeah, you get that guy who you think might be a little bit sideways on his rocker and throws hard, and for the hitter it's tough to get in there.
Did you hear Rocker's going to be on Survivor?
No, I didn't. He's going to go Jeff Kent, huh?
Yep. Wow. Now 2 outs, and it's David Murphy. He's 0 for 3.
Is he going to take the 7 train there?
He may not. I don't think they have trains on Survivor, do they?
I don't know. They need to update their program.
Murphy rolls one, and Singleton can't get it, nor can Altuve on through for a clean single to keep the Indians alive and get the potential tying run to the plate with Chisenhall coming up.
Talk about seeing eye.
Yes. Not hit hard at all.
Initially, I was disappointed that Singleton went after this ball. I thought stay at the bag and give Altuve the shot, but clearly neither guy had a legit shot.
In number 7 for the Indians. They've all been scattered in 7 different innings. Chisenhall got one of those. That was a second inning single. He's 1 for 3. Hooked that one foul.
Ronnie Chisenhall got a pretty good swing. And that was one of those swings that had intention of trying to drive one down the right field side.
Arizona leads the Giants 4-0. Giants 3 behind the Dodgers now after losing the last 2 of that series to LA. They're in the bottom of the 4th in Arizona. Altuve to his left. Singleton getting back to the base in time for the final out of this game. A game that saw 3 hits from Altuve to get him to 209. He drove in 2 and he scored the 3rd. The Astros winning it 3-1. Colin McHugh going to 10-9, beating McAllister, who's 3-7. Game 1 of the 4-game set goes to Houston 3-1.